Yeah, so there's just that spontaneous thing of just not needing to fill the moment, really. Not even needing to describe what's here. Just the moment as it is, really. So easy to get caught up in all the movements. To talk about the movement. But it's even more healing in a way to rest as a silence. You know, if we haven't already, to have that open view, where we're not narrowed down in thought, where we're just unplugged from the me that's commentating and managing and needing the moment to be different, dividing up the moment. If we unplug from that, not needing the moment to be different, but just allowing the moment to be vast, open spaciousness of just being, resting back. You know, we don't need to get anything. We're not leaning into the game, not ignoring the game, not ignoring how life can animate these physical experiences, you know, the body mind, ignoring it. We're looking at what is animating, or we're feeling into what's animating, what's primary. So we're just feeling into what's primary, Cindy. We're just looking from that broader view, rather than narrowed down. You know, in the game, there's a subject object. Prior to that all being created, we're looking from just this broader view, just this resting back and dropping down into the being that's always there, you know, the grounded being that's always there. Not needing the moment to be any other way. Just being. Maybe thoughts arising. They're optional. If we narrow down our view, then there's a life engages with itself. There's no me picking up the thoughts. I'm just remembering back to a conversation yesterday. You know, yes, believing in an eye. And there was a pointer who's believing in the eye. It was a lovely, spontaneous pointer. This eye that goes backwards and forwards, that's falling asleep and waking up and journeying. some sense, oh, we're just believing in an I, but who's believing in an I? So that's in your direct experience, who's believing in an I? Where is that one? Or is there just space until we create an I? Is there just pure potential? Presence itself. But it's receptive presence. It's open. It's not sort of checking out, avoiding the game. It's just leaning in, offering its cheek to the game, as if we're just got our face up to the sun. We're just offering our face to the sun. We're offering our being is offering itself to the game, knowing that it's playing the game from being. It doesn't need the moment to be any other way. It's just open and receptive and awake, not avoiding, not escaping, just not plugged into this experience of separation. Just the moment as it is, prior to mental activity, carving it all up and offering us invitations to experience it in a more contracted way. And that's not wrong, because it's just how this can dance. We tend to prefer one over the other, but we can recognize that we're not even in the game, that we have to plug into the game. We can plug in and play as effortless being, this receptive presence, alert and awake, knowing that we are the whole, we are the whatever's appearing, we are, even if it's separation. From the open view, we can see them. But when we take the invitation to experience as an I in the subject-object mode, the narrowing of the view, it just becomes a lot more of a denser experience. It's not wrong. There's nobody here that has, there'll be thoughts that shouldn't happen. I don't want that. But that too is this idea of separation, the one that doesn't want it. It's another invitation. The one that wants to know why it's going in and out and why am I still doing that? It's just another thought born out of, that we can identify with. The thoughts are neutral until we identify with them, and then they're just experienced as separation. You see that the thoughts are neutral. They just become charged when life engages with itself in the denser mode. Becomes a more contracted, denser way of experiencing. Not wrong. Just a potential. Right and wrong is for the mind, is for the mental realm, is for the division, is for the contrasting, comparing mind. What you are doesn't mind. It's unaffected by the denser modes of experience. It's just to recognize that that's what you are. It's how life experiences itself, as the human experience can experience itself as this receptive presence, just open, offering itself to the world. Not resisting what's appearing. In this open view. Not needing the moment to be different. Not trying to work it out or plan ahead or resist it. So there's nobody allowing the moment. You are allowance, There's resisting and allowance in the same game. It's just how this can play. But there's no actual person resisting and no person allowing. That's just how it can be experienced. But it never leaves wholeness. It's appearing in the wholeness. It's just going back to the beginning of when we opened up. And when we first started the conversation, it was like, oh, there's nothing to say. We don't need to fill the moment. And now I'm just sort of laughing at myself, thinking, hang on a minute, I'm completely filling the moment. How funny. But it's as if there was nobody filling the moment. The words are just tumbling out. There's no desire to fill the moment, no need to share. There is just sharing happening. It's just the stillness sharing. There's no agenda. It's just this moment. Unfolding. I heard this thing and it keeps coming back to me. I'm going to share it. I don't know why. You don't shout flower bud to say, open, open up. You know, there's an intelligence here that's orchestrating everything. You know, and you can see how the mind wants it to be different, wants to be there, wants to have reached the end, wants the journey to be over and the recognition of the truth in it all be sorted. Wants, just like shouting at the flower bud to open. We could see how silly that would be. Shout at a flower bud. Flower, damn you. Oh dear. And that's a bit like what we get in the mental realm will offer, you know. Wants the journey to be over. But that's the one causing the journey, narrating the journey. Just a limited way of viewing. Not wrong, just limited. Just a different angle, just a different reflection, just a different invitation. Different way of experiencing. That's how life learns about itself. So everyone's fundamental nature is just this. Being here now, brighter thoughts. You know, that's what we fundamentally are. So effortless, we miss it. So obvious. It's not apart from what we are, it's what we are. And we never leave, although there's experiences of coming and going. That's just, again, how life engages with itself through attention. The attention goes backwards and forwards. There's no I, yet it can re-identify with forms and thought forms, emotions and contractions that appear in what we are. We just narrow down that view and identify with them, then that's the experience we have. But we're always home. We can't leave. There's nowhere to go. There is just movements within what we are, and those movements create an experience for what we are. And I don't have to convince anybody what they are. I mean, it's pretty obvious, yeah. We don't do anything. There we are. Not there's anybody doing, but when life doesn't lean into the game, doesn't dive in, we're already home. We never leave home. It's just recognizing, remembering. You know, the more we dive into the game, the more that becomes our dominant experience. So that's how it gets identified with. If we remember to notice what's aware of the game more times than notice what's appearing in the game, that's when the game starts to, it's like a house of cards, it starts to fall. You start to see the cracks. Wake up to the truth. The lens starts to clear. Because what's looking is always crystal clear. What you are is always wide awake. Can't not be. Total freedom, experiencing itself as being bound. That's just how it can. It can experience itself as freedom and experience itself as bound, but what it is not even in the game. What we are. It's just how what we are experiences itself. Really what we are, you know, when we turn towards what's aware, when I say to you, are you aware? And immediately there's that recognition that we're aware. And then if we turn towards that awareness, there might be a subtle sense of a viewer, a viewpoint. If we turn towards that viewpoint, we notice that what we are can't be described. Because it's not apart from itself. There's nothing to compare itself with. It's the wholeness. And yet the wholeness has the potential to shape itself, appear to itself in order to experience itself in all the different ways, so that it can have this rich experience potentially. The sweetness of waking up to itself. Of course, it never fell asleep. It's not in the game. It's the totality. It doesn't have a boundary. It's timeless, formless. Can't be pinned down. Never not that. We can just start to open our eyes again and notice the breath. Breathing is just happening. Nobody beating the heart. It's that intelligence that opens the flower up to the sun when it's ready, not when somebody's shouting at it. Open, damn you. Oh, and that's a little bit how the experience of the spiritual journey. I just want to wake up. Completely understandable. Don't want to fall asleep again. Completely understandable. Has anybody got anything they want to share and any questions? Well, there weren't, if there's thoughts coming up, let's have a look. There's nobody getting anything wrong. It's how life learns about itself. It's how we all learn about ourselves. It's how we see the truth.